करते हैं, वो भी एक बढ़िया बात है। लेकिन जिन लोगों पे हम सीएसआर एक्टिविटी में एजुकेशन में खर्च करते हैं, उसके ऊपर हमें एक चीज करनी चाहिए कि जिन लोगों को हम एजुकेट कर रहे हैं और सीएसआर एक्टिविटी का पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं, उन्हें इस तरीके की एक एजुकेशन दी जानी चाहिए साथ साथ ही, कि जो एजुकेशन हम उन लोगों को प्रोवाइड करा रहे हैं वो गवर्नमेंट की नजरों में हम सीएसआर कर रहे हैं, बढ़िया है। लेकिन वो जो लोग एजुकेटेड होते हैं उसके बाद वो लोग आगे हमारी कंट्री को डेवलप करने के लिए कम से कम 5 साल का टाइम एजुकेशन करने के लिए आगे के लोगों को दें। इससे भी हमारी कंट्री को सपोर्ट मिलेगा। ये एक बहुत बड़ा इनिशिएटिव कदम है, इसको थोड़ा देखें किस तरीके से हम कर सकते हैं। और सर मैं एक ये बात पूछना चाहता हूँ कि हमारी कंपनी के ऊपर जो सिंगल प्लास्टिक यूज का जो बैन का जो इम्पैक्ट है उस पर कितना असर आया है, उससे निकलने के लिए क्या हम उसका लोड पेपर पर डालने वाले हैं, इसके बारे में थोड़ा देख के बताएं कि हम उसकी क्या तैयारी कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच एंड आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू द सेक्रेटरियल डिपार्टमेंट और ताजश्री जी जिन्होंने मुझे अपने साथ जुड़ने का मौका दिया, और उन्हें मैंने कुछ रिक्वेस्ट भी दी है, तो आशा करता हूं कि वो हमारी रिक्वेस्ट भी पूरी करें। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू मिस्टर चड्डा। नाउ नेक्स्ट स्पीकर इज मिस्टर शैलेश महादेविया।
Thank you for unmuting me. Yeah. Respected Chairman Nadir Godrej, Managing Director Balram Yadav, all other distinguished directors. Sir, I find it a great privilege to get this opportunity to present some of my views in front of such distinguished board of directors. Sir, I would also like to acknowledge the presence and addition of Dr. Mashalkar, who is a world-renowned scholar, and as I see his face, he is looking so very bright, young, energetic, and looking forward for all our developments. Sir, congratulations to the Godrej family for bringing in Dr. Mashalkar in our fold. Sir, now I would like to appreciate the report, which is also prepared very nicely in most exhaustive detail. Sir, the report also emphasizes our contribution in the field of ESG, amounting to the sustainable development of any industry. The report is excellent and exhaustive. Sir, I also appreciate the CSR work which has been done by the company, for which we are known for years together. But, sir, what I am additionally happy to note that our expense on CSR has a multiplier of 3. Means whatever investment we are doing in our CSR work investment, by independent assessors, it has been noted that we are enjoying multiplier of 3 on this particular aspect. And sir, before I proceed further, I would like to appreciate the services of the secretarial department, which is a link between the management on one side and the shareholders on the other. Sir, I have received prompt services from the secretarial department. Sir, now I wish to put some questions with a view to increase my understanding and appreciation of the work which is being done by the company. Sir, my first question is the policy of the government of India, which was planned last year. The farmers' agitation prevented such well thought out policy which would have benefited in many companies, including us. However, there is some hope that the various other government policies which will benefit the farmers in different ways is to be appreciated. Sir, what I would like to know is that what is the final assessment with regard to government policy which has could not be implemented, and the other various alternatives which are offered by the government. Sir, my next question is regarding our consideration for environment. Sir, the world is aware that methane gas is also as bad as carbon dioxide or CO2, or it may be even worse than that. However, in case of methane gas, it gets concentrated. It usually travels in colder regions and occasionally it explodes. At that particular time, the environment of the whole world is affected. Sir, we have done a lot of work on this subject in the last 5 to 6 years. We were informed that although there is no direct research on this, we have improved our cattle feed with the result that whatever methane gas is released is of a milder type. Sir, I would like you to make us up to date on this particular subject as it remains in the world. Sir, my third question is regarding our oil palm business. The government of India has laid out an excellent policy, decided to invest a lot of money, more than 10,000 crores on this project. We are already very well placed in this particular field. Sir, government has shown that they would like to move to places like Andaman and Northeast region. Our work so far has been, to the best of my knowledge, in Karnataka. Sir, may I know what plan we have for our this palm oil business, as we are one of the biggest manufacturers in India. And usually, after the plantation, the return from this particular investment has a long gestation period. So, sir, may we know where do we stand on this? Sir, my next question is regarding the dairy products, the business in which we have entered for some time. In the initial stages, it was confined only to some places in South, but now I believe we are trying to expand in a bigger way in other parts. Sir, here my question is that we have entered into a very competitive business, and particularly government-run cooperative societies, particularly Amul. They have established themselves in such a way that their services, and they go on extending their services. They have gone on adding value-added services. Sir, in such a scenario, how are we likely to get reward as far as our activities are concerned? And as you pointed out, even in the chairman's speech, that voluntarily all the producers agreed to put restriction on price rise, even though the situation demanded the same. Sir, my next question is regarding our plant in Jammu, where we are producing crop protection plant. Sir, may I know whether our Jammu plant is in operation, and if so, how many people we are employing? And recently, Government of India is taking and giving more and more incentives for any further development which we may take in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Sir, do we have any plan to have further expansion in that particular area? Sir, we have. I do not have any question because in the meeting of STEC, we have discussed in detail one of our major activities in our company. And for that, I must congratulate to you because STEC is doing extremely well and likely to do so in the years to come. And it is likely to be helpful, particularly the R&D department, to some of our own our own concerns in different fields. Sir, with this, I wish you every success in all your efforts, and my regards and namaste to all.
Namaste.
Thank you, Mr. Mahadevia. Our next speaker is Ms. Yashvi Kothari.
Ms. Yashasvi Kothari has not joined.
All the questions have been taken up. Now over to you, Chairman, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for their compliments on the performance on the secretarial department as well as on the annual reports. I would like to thank Mr. Mahadevia for his kind comments on our CSR and the high performance of our CSR. Mr. Arun Bopana painted a doomsday scenario where things would go very bad by 2030. I would like to say that any kind of situation in which there is a shortage of food or prices of food rise would be a big opportunity for India, because yields in India are quite low and there is a lot of potential for improving yields. And one of the big constraints is the low prices of commodities. If prices of commodities rise, India can rise to the occasion better than other places, as long as we don't have very bad climate change effects. There were suggestions for splits of shares. We will consider those. Mr. Mahadevia talked about methane. Cows do emit a lot of methane. A lot of people are working on solutions for reducing methane emissions from cows. Our R&D is looking at the situation and trying to find methane reduction. And as Mr. Mahadevia mentioned, more efficient cattle feed will automatically reduce methane emissions. So we are looking at this quite seriously. Oil palm plantations are mostly in Andhra Pradesh, with small areas in Tamil Nadu and Goa, but we expect to expand with the new government policy in Telangana and in several states of the Northeast, where we have a concentrated area across several states at the intersection of where these states meet. I now request Mr. Balram Yadav to answer all the other questions and elaborate on what I have also said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Arun, my apologies because I could not hear first part of your questions, but what my team has told me, I'll try and answer those. So I think one question was about our partner in Bangladesh. Yes? Yes. So I think Advanced Chemical Industry is a big conglomerate in Bangladesh with more than $1.5 billion turnover. They're into several businesses. They're into pharmaceuticals. They are into consumer brands. They have a very large agri business, and they're also into retail chain. The biggest retail chain, Swapno, is operated by this company, which has 144 outlets in Bangladesh. It is a very respected company, and we have had a very, very good relationship, even though it is a 50-50 JV. But we have really done very well, and they bring in a lot of local knowledge and support to this joint venture. On the P&L impact because of Russian-Ukraine war, a little bit was there in Aztec, but as you know, it accounts for less than 1% of our total turnover of Godrej Agrovet Limited. We have no receivables from Russia, and we are very careful in doing business, and some of it was answered in our Aztec AGM also. Now, in renewable energy, we have very, very aggressive goals, and we are already at 75% level in Q2 as far as renewable energy is concerned. Our target is to go to 90% by 2025, and we will definitely surpass that, I'm very sure. Main focus is on rooftop solar. So, you also asked about main focus of our businesses. As you know, we are part of the food chain. We will always be in focus, whether we are in milk business, in the animal protein business, in agrochemical business, in oil business. And oil, as you know, edible oil is the largest imported food in the country.
So we have a lot of opportunity there. However, the priorities will keep on changing. Depending on that will come our capital allocation. And right now, most of our capital allocation is diverted towards Aztec Life Sciences, where it is needed and where we see a lot of opportunity. New products, we have launched several new products in last few years. Our new product turnover last year, our total turnover was close to about 400 crores, which is 5%. I must also tell you, and there was a question on new product. Otherwise, also, almost 9 products will be launched in agrochemical in next 3 years, which are at different stages of registration. In Godrej Foods Limited, we are working in potato products, which are likely to be launched in October. And potato value-added products have a very big market in the country. In ACI, we were presented only in the high-end segment. In cattle feed, we are market leaders, but because of competition coming in type 2 feeds, which is the mid-level segment, we are launching 2 products, both for meat as well as dairy in that area. In creamline dairy products, we are a little constrained. We were out of capacity in value-added products during season, and for that, new line is being implemented, which will be operational from January onwards. And because of that line, several other opportunities in terms of packing will be available to us, and we are thinking of several products in the new packaging and in a new format. Aztec launched 2 new CDMO products in last year, and several of them are on the anvil. So you are talking about new business models. Yeah. Yes. So, sorry. So in all businesses, we have new business models emerging, particularly on digital platforms like, for example, Nurture.farm is a digital agri platform facilitating trade of farm inputs for farmers and retailers. We also have a lot of competition from Licious and Fresh to Home. And there are several other startups which are competing with us in different areas. Now, one of the things which is good is that we are producers of chicken, of milk products, of all these agrochemicals, and these companies are largely into distribution. So we are collaborating with all of them. In food businesses, agrochemical businesses, we are collaborating with these startups and digital platforms to enhance our business. And micronutrients and pressure on natural resources, you are absolutely right. Food fortification is likely to be mandated in time to come. Of course, there is a debate on that. I think these are some of the things which we will be very glad to discuss offline. On how we differentiate with competitors in several ways. One of the things is in most of the product lines, particularly animal feed, aqua feed, etc., we are a pan-Indian India company, so product availability is one differentiator. Consistent quality. We have been using R&D in most of our new product development in most of our businesses to create new products and same products at a lower price, which gives us a competitive edge. Apart from that, in most of our businesses, we have a very strong sales and service team, which is very useful in the animal feed business, the aqua feed business, and the crop protection business. I think that makes us capable of giving a much better value proposition from several of our competitors. Of course, in a business where everything is copied very quickly, I think we need to continue to work on innovation, research and development, branding, etc., to maintain that edge. I think innovation in foods we've already talked about. I think that is one of the areas where a lot of work is happening. Then Ms. Shinoy asked about digital future. Now most of the processes in GAVL are all digitalized, but of course our interaction with the customers, etc., needs some more work on that. We are in the process of formulating a digital strategy. We have already formed a digital department under the strategy department. Will be very, very consumer focused. And I'm sure that within few months, we will begin this journey. We are also seeking help from global consultants and embarking on this journey and making digital a big competitive edge in future. Competitors have already, So in different businesses, different competitors. In say cattle feed, we have national competitors, international competitors also, like Cargill is there, Hindustan Feeds in Maharashtra, Kapila in UP, Bihar, Gokul in central India, then you have Sudha, Baramati, Agro, Patanjali in different places. And if you see in milk, Hatson, Heritage Foods, Parag Foods, Dodla, in Aqua Feeds, Avanti Feeds, Water Base, Aztec Life Sciences, Naveen Fluorine, PI Industries, UPL, Bayer Crop Science, Rallis, they're all competitors. In CPB again, Bayer Crop Science, UPL, Rallis, Taluka, etc. are all competitors. So we compete with different people in different segments. Then Capex Plan, so I must brief you that our Capex this year, we have budgeted about 500 crores of Capex. And most of this Capex, almost 90%, will be spread between Aztec Life Sciences, where a big project is on way in Dahej. And I think 60% of this 500 crores will be invested there and substantial amount in land. In oil palm plantation, we are coming up with refinery and solvent extraction plant. And in CDPL, I have briefed you that we have run out of value-added capacity, so we are setting up another line there. And Mr. Kumar, you talked about we selling live bird cheaper in Bangalore market. So there were instances where we had got into a rate contract with some of our buyers. And that was the time when some of the time we supplied chicken at lower than market price. But since you have mentioned it, I will personally have a look at it and keep watch on this. Mr. Bhatia talked about split, I think that Mr. Godrej has addressed. Mr. Chadda, you asked me about next 2-year plan. We have plans of growing top line and bottom line upwards of 15% in next 2 years. Inflation is something which all of us are dealing with. In some businesses, we have a pass-through. In some businesses, we don't have a pass-through. Most of the businesses which are having this challenge, there is a huge work happening internally as well as with the help of external consultants on cost reduction and productivity improvement. R&D has come to great help in most of our businesses in reduction of costs, either by alternate raw materials or by changing processes in a way that we pull out costs in these businesses. You'll be very glad to know that water harvesting is a very big part of our CSR program, and we are water positive 6 times. Whatever water we take from the system, I think 6 times more we are able to harvest. Solar is also a big initiative. 75% of the energy we are using in GAVL consolidated is renewable, and in 3 years' time we will cross 90%. And we are using solar in a big way. Most of our factories and all the new factories definitely have got rooftop solar, and we generate a lot of solar energy. Not only we use it, but surplus is also given to the grid. On educating and CSR, the impact study we do is very, very encouraging. We have got 3 times impact on whatever we spend that Mr. Mahadevia has conveyed and he has quoted from our balance sheet. But we see a lot of impact of this skill imparting we do as a CSR in improving livelihood of women and farmers in rural India. Then Mr. Mahadevia talked about farm laws. Yes, sir, it was a setback because we are big votaries on farm laws, and I think more than me, Mr. Dr. Ashok Gulati, I think, has been pioneer of this reform for times immemorial. But I must also tell you that I think the gear has changed in Indian agriculture, both in pure agriculture and in animal husbandry. There is a separate ministry, and there are very big funds which are helping grow infrastructure in this area. There is a fisheries fund, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana of 20,000 crores, which will revolutionize production of aqua in northern India, and it is already happening. I think we have set up a new plant in Baramati for fish feed, which states volume about what is likely to happen in future there. We have animal husbandry infrastructure fund of 15,000 crores. And the big thing is the agri infrastructure fund of 1 lakh crore, which is creating remarkable infrastructure in rural India. So I'm very sure that I think this will give a lot of support to good GDP growth in both these areas. Methane, Mr. Nadir Godrej has already mentioned. Oil palm plantation, yes, the new scheme is very good. A lot of states have been very, very encouraging, and we have accelerated our growth in Orissa and Tamil Nadu, where we already had allocations, and we have already been allocated contiguous area in Tirupura, Manipur and Assam, and this is an opportunity of close to 15,000 hectares, which we plan to cover in next 3 years. This was also close to our Mizoram mill, which will help initially in capacity utilization of that mill, and later we will set up a mill in Assam because we are likely to get more allocation depending on performance we show in next 2-3 years. Regarding organic growth of about 6,000 hectares of expansion over about 60,000 plus hectares will happen this year, but we have augmented our nursery capacity, so we will be able to up this to 8,000 to 9,000 hectares per annum in next year. In dairy, I fully agree with you, sir, that it is a very competitive business, and with cooperatives there it is very difficult. And I think we are tasting that for last 2 years when cooperatives are very happy increasing the price of milk to the farmers, but not price of milk to the consumer. And that has been a pain area for us. But our strategy for last 5 years have been branded, value-added products where the margins are high and cost of milk does not bother the way it bothers us in the liquid milk segment. And you'll be very glad to know that in Q1, our salience from about 30% has gone to 38%. And this is because we were out of capacity during season. So that is a very good sign. The branding is good. Market shares are improving. The margin as compared to liquid milk in value-added products is more. And I'm sure that this salience will definitely keep on improving and making this business more sustainable. So big thing is new product development, which will be accelerated once we have capacities to produce more products. Yeah. So in crop protection business, Jammu plant operation has been an extremely efficient operation for us. Capacity utilizations are always at 70 to 80% during season. And you will be glad to know that we are expanding there, and we are acquiring adjacent pieces of land which are available, because with new products coming, we need more production capacities there. So this is the incremental investments which will happen in Jammu. But I think J&K government has got a big plan to attract industries, and whenever they invite us, most of our businesses will look at that opportunity. So we have total number of employees about 131 in our Jammu factory, and we have about 17 fixed employees, and most of them are contract employees, almost 114. Of course, with new expansion, we will increase the number of employees. Yes. I hope I've answered all the questions. In case I have missed out something, we will be more than glad to connect offline and answer those questions also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Balram. I would like to thank the members for their questions. In case any of the questions remain unanswered or the members were unable to speak due to any issue during the meeting, the members may please communicate their questions with the company through email at gavl.secretarial@godrejagrovet.com, which shall be answered suitably. I now request the e-voting procedure to be conducted and would like to conclude the meeting. The e-voting facility will remain open for the next 15 minutes in order to enable the members to cast their votes and will be disabled thereafter. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the employees, business partners, associates, vendors, and the central and state governments and government agencies for their contribution and sustained support in the continued success of Godrej Agrovet Limited. Finally, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to you, our members, for your continued faith, trust, encouragement, and support. With your consent, I and the other board members would like to take your leave. I wish all the shareholders to stay safe and healthy. Thank you.